Welcome everybody to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Well, today guys, we are actually going to be taking a look at not one, not two, not even three, but as you saw in the title, 4 wreckers. I wanted to start off this video by showing you guys how the complete set of wreckers looks all together. Now I know that Wheeljack and Top Spin technically aren't part of the set. I felt that they definitely deserve their place in this video. Like I said, I just want to show you guys how they looked all together. Let's actually start off by looking at none other than the Wrecker's Hammer. But the interesting part is that when you look at this actually says Emirate Zaron, and then when you look at the top where the front of the hammer was sitting, it actually says founder of the Wreckers Resistance. Anyway, I wanted to show you what most of the hammer looked like with its base and everything. But enough about that flimsy and fake hammer. And the one thing that I will always say about Impactor is that I've never been too entirely pressed with his alt mode. It is nice to kind of see it in these darker colors because it does help me take it a little bit more serious than like this like bright yellow and really kind of Decepticon purpley thing. I like this comic universe version. You see it, you basically know what you're getting involved with. It's decent, but definitely not my favorite mode of his. Leadfoot, on the other hand, he is taken from one of my favorite Kingdom molds. And even when you put him up to a guy like Mirage, he looks good. This guy has some sick, shimmery, slightly metallic blue paint, which will definitely pop a heck of a lot more in robot mode. One of the interesting facts about this guy is that on his original toy, he had 93, and that just so happens to also be the year that Generation 2 started, which Leadfoot is a G2 character. But I do want to go ahead and show you what at least he looks like compared to a bad guy race car. To be honest, race car Transformers are not extremely that common, but on the flip side, they aren't exactly rare either. Leadfoot is just emanating that wild 90s color palette, toyetic energy. Even though I never had him, it's giving me that vibe. Is anybody else getting a little bit of Jurassic Park 3 vibes here? Which, sidebar, I have to bring this out, that they have found in recent days, despite a Spinosaurus being bigger than a T-Rex could totally wreck a Spinosaurus. I have to say that with Spindle rocking Impactor's colors, it's kind of an interesting choice, but I definitely like it. It is interesting just seeing how it does stack up to the original mold, and I love the changes that they've made to it in totally making it a different dinosaur. Now, the one thing that a lot of people are very quick to point out, it kind of feels like the QC issues. This part loves to pop out super easy around her ankles, and they love to turn in like this. It's a small issue, but still it's enough that it warranted a mention. And Master Dominus, I swear you guys are not ready for this one, okay? Now, obviously his name is a play on the word Mastodon, Master Dominus. That's a given, okay? The other part of his name, though, in Japanese continuity, there was a planet called Master. Well, the very same planet in Western continuity was called Dominus. So do you see where we're going with this? Master Dominus, which basically means that his name, when you take all the factors together, is kind of weapons grade wordplay. However, when we look at him and where his mold originated from, one thing that they had to do was because of his front legs being so much shorter than his back legs, they actually went ahead and added an additional piece to where you could actually straighten these legs out as opposed to having them folded, and then they just reused the front part of his feet to give us this. I love the red detailing in between the ribs, and then like the spinal column being gold, that's awesome. Plus the black overlay, you know, matching up with the bone bits here, that is really kind of cool. I think this guy would be a great addition to any combiner fossilizers that you could put together. So in regards to actually that combiner bit, if you detach the front part of Master Dominus's beast mode head, they actually specifically designed it to be combined with this piece from the bottom of Spindle's chest. And when you actually plug it in there, it is actually supposed to give you a unique combiner mode head that I guess is supposed to slightly homage the Power Core combiner. So I do have to admit that is actually kind of a sick looking combiner mode head. So guys, I will fully admit, as you know, I'm not a fan of his tank mode. But this boy has, at the very least, always had a decent robot mode. I like the head a little bit more. And when you compare it to the Siege one, this head is like a full third smaller. And even the smaller cannon, I'm down with that. And then of course, I feel that the colors themselves actually also work a lot better being of that darker tone variety, and they don't contrast as sharply as they did on the Siege guy. Again, look at that sculpting, the golds and the purples. I mean, just, man, this is a definite upgrade from his Siege days. However, I just feel that out of the 4 figures that we're looking at, this is still probably the weakest one despite all of its awesome features. And I'll fully admit that combiner face there as basically chest armor, that's awesome. Although I do kind of like the fact that she just has a dinosaur skull kind of ponytail. She's rocking that. Now, whereas Skelovore had the battle mask that could slide down, she doesn't really have that. So she just has her standard robot mode head. But I think this one is probably one of the weaker ones in robot mode, despite its awesome things. Man, if this boy was emanating 90s toy energy before in vehicle mode, he is especially spilling it out here in robot mode. And now, as we said, you know, here is the blue, the shimmery metallic blue. Oh my gosh, that is just so awesome. Even the tip of the missile having that is really kind of cool. Plus the fact that, I'm a sucker for a really good head sculpt. So even when we compare him to a legacy guy of a similar color batch, he looks awesome, and it would be kind of cool to see these two dudes squaring off against each other, which, I mean, heck, if you wanted to do that on a shelf, you certainly can. So definitely, I think Leadfoot is killing it in robot mode, but then again, he was taken from Mirage, so are we really surprised by that? I don't think so. And so here we come to Master Dominus and see how he is rocking his robot mode. I think despite the fact that this head is really kind of a cool sculpt, I still have to give it up to Tricranius. I believe his is a better look. However, you remember those extra pieces that I showed you? They actually show them in the instructions plugging in somewhere around here, but it really just kind of felt like it junked up his arms and it didn't look as clean. So basically, just to get them out of the way, I just plugged them on the back. I like how they have reutilized the tusks from the mammoth mode, and it feels just like a really kind of awesome, it's basically like Wolverine's claws, but just 2 of them and a heck of a lot longer. And I am definitely down with this guy's vibe, so he's one of my favorites of the set. And here we have the Wreckers versus the Renegades. And I gotta say that the boys do indeed look fabulous, especially the 4 that we've been looking at this evening. And I tell you what, I really am enjoying these additions to the Wreckers, because when you pose them up like this, they certainly do not disappoint you. Even when these boys are posing for a group shot, they look fabulous like that as well. So anyway, guys, I am just really happy to say that I really appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown for the Red Cog video and the Creatures Collide set. The numbers on those have been more than normal. So I'm just very grateful that you guys appreciate the content. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the Wreck and Rule collection featuring Impactor, Spindle, Dominus, well, Master Dominus, and Leadfoot. So until next time, guys, we'll see you in another review.